Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry to interrupt the conversation, but we all get along so well, they go on all day. And it's a beautiful day, we should have this outside. That'll be Monday for a groundbreaking, we do it outside. So thank you everyone for being here. My name is Mike Tomes, Mayor of Rock Island, and I have the honor and privilege to open this up, but I know enough to be dangerous, as they say. So we have people here, city engineers, public works, valley construction, that can help answer questions, the devils of the detail, so to speak. But I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We're so excited for this project to happen. There's no doubt about that. You know, it's going to be one of these stories that if you've ever remodeled your home or done some projects, there's a step sometimes you might think backwards to go too forward. And that's what I guess I view this as being, is during the construction, and they can answer how long that's going to be and where and else. It's going to be a bit of a pain. But the end result is going to be outstanding. If people have seen some of the renderings of things that are happening, it may not exactly be that way, but it's going to be close to it. We're going to have some fun, exciting things. We're going to have some boring parts, water and sewer. The public works love to talk about those things, but and it's boring and it's ugly. But there's some exciting things above ground that are going to happen. A lot of new sidewalks and trees and plants and welcome signs and lighting, more pedestrian-friendly lighting. Once again, I could go through a lot of different things, but it's going to be exciting and fun to see it come together by the end of this year, hopefully, if not first part of next year. And so we're really excited. It's a major investment by the city and the taxpayers investing in this. The money is coming from a lot of different areas. And maybe you've heard this, whether it be the TIF money that we've had, federal ARPA monies that we have, city other general funds. So it took, to get this together, it took a lot of creative thinking, but also creative people to put together the ideas. And a lot of those ideas came back from, believe it or not, back in 2015 when there was a plan done in the public here. And we just took that, polished it up a little bit, and came up with these ideas. And so we're really excited to have this kind of partnership and involvement with this. And this, I gotta say, is the beginning. It's really the beginning. This is going to be, obviously we only got so much to do and so many blocks that we can work on because of the money. But in the future years, the plan is to be able to take, whether it be a block at a time or an issue at a time, to be able to take care of a good majority of what people might now know as the SSA or Special Service Area, the Rock Island Alliance space that Jack is leading with the Chamber for Placemaking. But we want to continue to expand that so everybody's place, a business and building gets touched. And that's the long-term goal. Short-term is we can only do so much. But we're just, the city, I tell you, city council is enthused about this. I've talked to a number of business owners and they all say it's exciting. It's the biggest investment that's happened in many, many years in this area. It's time that we reinvented ourselves a little bit. And the city's making this step forth with the taxpayers' money and else. But we also got to remember that it's the business owners and the building owners that we need to make sure that we get involvement from them in their properties also. Public-private partnerships are so important. And it's going to take everybody's involvement to continue this forward in the future. And to be able to make this happen and to start filling those empty buildings. And so it's a lot of exciting things can happen and will happen in the near future if we all work together. So hopefully this sets a little bit of the pace. We'll get somebody up here that knows a little more of the details and can answer questions. Jack Ho.
Thank you, Mayor Tomes. Set the tone, said a lot of great things. As he mentioned, largest investment in downtown's public infrastructure in a generation, which is worth celebrating by all of us in our greater community. My name is Jack Cullen, Executive Director of the Rock Island Downtown Alliance. We help manage the city's downtown special service area. In addition to that, we've been a project partner on this Rebuild Downtown project since we started fundraising and putting the plans together back in the spring of 2021. So going on 3 years, bringing input that was made by the public from the 2015 downtown plan, as the mayor said, now implementing that, putting that into action. So not only the largest infrastructure investment in downtown in a generation, but taking a lot of pieces that were part of that big public plan and implementing. So a lot to be excited about there. This is our project team. I'm gonna kind of run through some of this. I'm not a project engineer, I'm not the project manager, not a contractor, so I'm gonna give high-level overview of the improvements. We'll dig into more of the nitty-gritty details that everybody is looking forward to getting before they leave today. So our 3 goals since day one for this project was to enhance public spaces, encourage private investment, and improve overall quality of life in the downtown for business owners, workers, residents, visitors, all of our stakeholders that we consider to be stakeholders in the downtown. This is an overview of the project area, and so we will see 4 blocks of complete reconstruction: 18th Street, 1st Avenue to 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue between 18th and 19th Streets, and 3rd Avenue between 18th and 19th Streets, as well as the full-on renovation of Arts Alley. The red strip, the northern part of this map, is the 1st Avenue reconstruction project that will begin in 2025, reducing the traffic lanes on Great River Road or Illinois 92 to 1 lane in each direction with a left-hand turn lane, making it more accessible between the Riverfront Park and the trail system in our downtown. So while it's not a part of this $8.7 million infrastructure investment, it is, as the mayor said, this is the start, and that is another exciting project on the horizon that will follow this one. This is an overview again of some of the project components. So we will see complete reconstruction of streets and sidewalks from building face to building face, replacement of utilities including water main, storm and sanitary sewer, and streetscape improvements including streetlights, trees, benches, trash receptacles, and the part I'm most excited about, the placemaking elements, public art, lighting, gateway signage, and an outdoor patio district supporting our established restaurants in the downtown that have been here prior to the pandemic, survived the pandemic, and are continuing to thrive in our downtown. This is the gateway arch that will be at the intersection of 1st Avenue and 18th Street. So this view is looking as if you were at Schwiebert Park, looking into the downtown business district, welcoming visitors into the downtown. This is from the other side, looking north. Here's an aerial overview of the core of the project area. Intersection of 2nd Avenue and 18th Street. This is looking east at the intersection of 2nd Avenue and 18th Street. You see the mini roundabout that we will believe enhance pedestrian and vehicle safety in the downtown, as well as serve as kind of this central focal point, symbolizing the true historical center of our downtown. This is a green lawn proposed, a mixed-use space proposed at the intersection of 2nd Avenue and 18th Street. It's currently a parking lot, and the public, our Downtown Alliance Board and City Council is excited about converting this into a flexible mixed-use space that could be used by the community instead of the parking lot that exists today. One point that wasn't here, just to highlight it briefly, is Arts Alley, which is in the 1700 block of 2nd Avenue. That will be, as I said, completely renovated, including having one of the largest public art projects in the history of Rock Island too. And so that is something that we're working closely with Quad City Arts and downtown stakeholders on. We've narrowed down to 10 finalists who will be getting actual proposed designs for those murals in that space. There will be opportunities for the public to engage with those proposals here in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. And before I hand it off to Jason McKenzie with Veenstra and Kim, on behalf of the Downtown Alliance, I will say one of our priorities during this project is to ensure, as the sign says, and as the sign you saw coming into the Stern Center, that businesses will remain open during construction. And I'm promising here, we will work our hardest in partnership with the city to support businesses affected by this project. As the mayor said, there could be some times that are disruptive and challenging, but we will do our part to make sure that our community is helping by supporting you all and your businesses during this project, and that access will be maintained to your businesses And in the end, we'll be better off for it. So thank you in advance for your patience, your collaboration, teamwork. That's what all these public-private partnerships are about. Honored and privileged to be at the helm of that with all of our partners here. So thank you again. At this point, I'll pass it over to projects here. Veenstrom Kim, Senior Project Manager, Jason McKenzie. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jack. As Jack said, that we're here to communicate throughout the project. So there's going to be multi-avenues of communication, just kind of on site. Every once in a while, the contractor and my on-site person will put out door hangers, like giving you some information. But then there will be on-site personnel there that'll be your first line of communication. And then there'll also be a bi-weekly newsletter that'll be going out. In just a moment, we'll flip through that and show you like an example of that. And on your one page that you have there's a QR code that you can scan and then sign up for that newsletter. Also, Jack has an email blast for everybody in the downtown. So he can, if there's something that needs communicated right away, he can blast that out to everybody. And then also on the city website, and then also Facebook page will be updates. And then one last thing that was not on here, but we're gonna have a once a month business meeting that will get you all together and invite you all, and then there'll be the city and the consultant and the contractor, and we'll all just get together and kind of go over where we're at in the progress and kind of an updated schedule once a month. So I was talking about on-site personnel. Sorry about that. On-site personnel, here will be your primary point of contact right here. Will be Luke Town. Luke, why don't you stand up there? He's with Veenstrom Kim. He'll be on site every day. And then Aaron Lovitz with Valley Construction. He'll be on site every day. So they'll be your two main points of contacts. If you have any issues right away, please get a hold of them. If you can't get a hold of them, call them or email them. And then if you can't get them, then please get a hold of me or Christy there. She's in my office, or Mike Kane with the city, or Jack Cullen with the Downtown Alliance. So as I was telling you, here's a little newsletter that we'll be putting together every 2 weeks and sending that out. And basically what it is they'll kind of be telling you exactly like where we're at in the stage of construction, and then what's going to be happening in the next 2 weeks. And then there'll be a few pictures on there to kind of show you what is going on at that moment. And like there's the QR code if you guys want to sign up for that. So here's how the project's going to be phased. There in blue will be the first phase. So it'll be all of 18th Street and all of 2nd Street up to 19th, basically from 18th to 19th. And then from 3rd Street from 18th to 19th, just short of the intersections. The green area is the phase 2. Those will be the intersections at basically 2nd and 19th and 2nd and 3rd. And phase 3 is Arts Alley, which can be done at the same time as phase 1 or phase 2, just depending on, Aaron will come talk about his schedule here in a minute. But a couple other things to kind of mention is typical working hours are Monday through Friday, and occasionally Saturday. And then from 7 to 3:30 will be the working hours mostly, but there will be overtime. So the city allows to 7 p.m. So on their ordinance. So kind of during phase one, the red dash kind of shows the circulation of basically of road vehicle and pedestrian traffic through there. In just a moment, I'll show you kind of. So during phase one, we're going to basically remove all the pavement, and we're going to leave 5 feet of sidewalk to get access to each building, which I'll show you in just a minute here. So here you can see this is basically from First Avenue to 2nd Avenue on 18th Street. The blue area will be what's going to be removed, and then the orange area will be what's going to stay in place to allow access to the buildings and to the businesses. And then here's showing basically 18th Street from 2nd to 3rd. It'll be showing the same. And then one thing is, once they construct all the pavement, like do all the underground, first they have to do the sanitary and the water main, and then after that, and the storm sewer. But then, once they get the pavement done in the middle, then they'll go to the outside and then start constructing the outside. And then pedestrian traffic will be through the street. And if the sidewalks are wider in that area, then it'll be the sidewalk. And then here's showing on 2nd, basically showing all the removal in the blue, and then the orange will be what's going to be left for the phase, and then they'll basically flip-flop over after they get the middle done. One thing to add is, so we'll work with you. You're probably asking, how are we going to get your front door done? So there's a lot of businesses are out of off work on Mondays, so some aren't, but some are. Then they'll construct that and then here's 2nd. Here's phase 2. Basically, it'll just be the intersections there in green. And then they'll have signage around it for access around it. And then just again, phase 3 is basically Arts Alley. In Arts Alley, just to let you know, like same situation, they'll remove kind of the center and they'll leave like a 5-foot access to the building entrances. And then after they get that kind of constructed in the inside, then they'll go back and remove the outside, and then they'll give you access through that way. So here, this slide right here is basically showing where all available parking will be during construction. And just in purple are the current available spots. The city's working with Modern Women and working out some leases on those pink parking areas. So they're not available right now, but we're working quickly to get those available, and as soon as that's available, we'll blast that out on the newsletter and then email, and just let you know with an updated parking map. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron from Valley Construction, and he'll kind of go through the schedule. I just want to say one thing before he comes up, is that just wanted to let you know that this is, we're going to be working in a really old part of town, and we don't know if we know everything that's in the ground, but we're pretty sure we do, but you never know in the old part of town. So this is kind of, Aaron's giving you the best case scenario schedule. So, but if we find something, we'll communicate that out to you and let you know if the schedule changes. And then also, one other thing is that the schedule that he's kind of putting forth is kind of weather dependent. If we get like a real rainy season, you know, the schedule could change a little bit. So, but we'll make sure we communicate that with you and get that on the newsletter. And then once a month, we'll update the schedule with the business owner rate. I'll turn it over to Aaron.
Well, thank you. First and foremost, we want to really thank the city of Rock Island, B&K, the Downtown Alliance, and business
Speak up a
owners.
little bit.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, my voice is a little harsh. Oh. Well, 6'8" kind of, it's hard to adjust for that.
Aaron, you
So-
can take it out.
Huh?
Can you take out the mic?
Maybe. How's this? All right, awesome. Well, first and foremost, we want to thank everyone here. City of Rock Island, B&K, Streamline, Downtown Alliance, as well as all the business owners and residents that are here. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is what Valley wants to do is be as available as possible to make everything happen for the city and residents and businesses. With that being said, Jason, Jack definitely had the easy part. Now it's up to me to make it a little bit feasible. So what that means is that we're going to start this project right away. What that's going to look like is basically next week we're going to start looking at tearing up the downtown area. We would see that after the groundbreaking, a lot of things happen really fast. So the one thing I want to offer to the business owners, residents, and anyone else that has questions, you know, feel free to contact me. Feel free to contact anyone from B&K, that team, as well as the city. You know, all that we're working here as a partner. We're definitely trying to advocate for communication being number one here. So after the groundbreaking, what it's going to look like is that we're going to start demoing concrete right away, start getting the areas open, start getting the underground stuff, the things that you're not going to see, because that's always a fun part for us, is that we got to get everything, we got to go from low to high. So what that's going to look like is you're going to see probably a couple months straight of just demolition, machines working left and right, and you will not see any progress. But it's because you can't see it. It's all underground. What that really means for us is that, you know, if you have questions, be a part of what Jack is providing for you as far as the 2-week updates, and be a part of that one every month business and resident meeting. Be a part of that, be informed, and again, if you have questions, feel free to come to me. Getting back to the schedule, what that's going to look like for everyone is that we're going to start here in the next week, and phase 1 is a large section of this project. You're going to see us out on phase 1 for probably most of the year, almost all the way to the end of October to November timeframe. At that point, once we get everything turned over and ready for everyone to drive on, then we're going to go into our phase 2. Phase 2 is the 2 intersections that's been shown on 19th and 2nd and 19th and 3rd. The project will start seeing some transition into phase 2 probably around the end of October. We'll start having some activities being done. There will be a small overlap between phase 1 and phase 2, but that's only to be expected in a downtown project like this. So we would ask for everyone to work with us and understand that project schedule does fluctuate. You know, I can't control the weather, even though everyone thinks I can. You know, being as tall as I am, everyone asks for how the weather is up there. So at the end of the day, I try to do my best. But like Jason even alluded to a little bit here, this is downtown area that's well over 100 years old. You know, I think we have a member of the Haas family here. We've been here for 100 years. You know, we're going to celebrate our 100th year next year, 2025. So we're really excited to be a part of this job. And, you know, over 100 years, yeah, we don't have the same piece of equipment that we had. I think we started off with a horse-drawn buggy or something like that, right, Greg? So things change over time, and we expect things to come up over, to get a little closer, okay. We expect things to come up over the course of the construction period. So please work with us, please work with the team, please work with Rock Island, and understand that schedules do change. Schedule 3, or phase 3, sorry, the Arts Alley, that phase is going to be incorporated throughout the project. We're going to be trying to get that project done this fiscal year so that we can get that turned over to the Arts Gallery and the arts community as soon as possible. We're going to be working with the city and the muralist to coordinate our events so that we don't disrupt that activity. But once the muralist is complete, we're going to try to have a crew in there and start making improvements to that alleyway. And then with the final completion of this project, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to have continuing activities until probably June 1st of 2025. A lot of what's going to be happening next year is the landscaping projects, and the ultimate hope here is that the roadway, all the hard surfaces are restored back to the public by the end of this year. And again, this goes over to 18th Street a little bit further. 18th Street is at the Daiquiri Factory parking lot. We're hoping to have that restored 100% with all other landscaping items by June 1st. So I know on behalf of Val Construction, B&K, and the City of Rock Island, we're all excited to get this project started. And you know, I'll bring Jack and Jason back up here to help field any questions that there might be. I know that there's a couple more renderings. Jack, we wanted to go through those real quick.
So Jason has a mic for any audience members to ask questions of the group. Not just me, I can help be a facilitator here. We have some additional renderings of the project that I can scroll through. But if anyone has a question anytime, raise hand. Denny, thank you. Yep, Jason's bringing a mic just so everybody can hear.
I have a couple of questions. It sounds from what you were saying about the parking lot that's across from El Patron, and that's going to be used for other purposes now. Will there be a net loss of parking spaces as a result of the project?
So ultimately what we're trying to do is work with the city on minimizing as much impact to the parking spots as possible. I know that, for instance, Jack, the City of Rock Island, B&K, has gone extensively looking for available parking space. So you will ultimately lose some parking space on 18th just due to the fact that construction is closed. But again, I think the team here has shown there's a wide variety of available areas, as well as I think most recently the parking structure from the City of Rock Island got completed, last year, right, Jason? So hopefully that answers your ultimate question.
And then I'm wondering if there has been money budgeted for the loss of business at downtown companies as a result of the project.
It's a great question, Denny. We are working with the city, had some conversations this week about exploring possible funds to help with, business interruption, essentially, or, impacted businesses during the construction project. So we don't have anything concrete. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at my partners at the city here, but we are exploring it. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll be able to unlock some additional funds for that. Great question. The other piece on the parking, real quick, we looked at that lot really closely. There's about 20 spots in that lot. There's about 1,000 plus parking spaces in the downtown, on-street parking as well as the city's lots. So there are plenty of places to park. We're going to gain parking spaces through the leases with Modern Women of America, which will be huge help. And so another shout out to Modern Women for helping us with that during this project.
I have a question about really kind of the alleyways that access parking and really trash that are between 2nd Avenue and 3rd Avenue. So this would be around like the Starcrest building, behind the Pancake House, that area. It would be accessed right next to the Pancake House. So that is the only way in to a 44 space parking lot. Is access on that road, and that is also where trash is for most of those buildings. So how will there be access to that trash? How will trash be handled there? And then is there any accommodation for getting people in and out of that parking lot? I have federal partners that park there regularly.
So that's been the discussion piece between the team here at V&K Valley and the city of Rock Island. We're exploring options to see what we can do to maximize as much availability as we can. There will be portions of the construction project where we have to close it, and this is one of the things that we have to communicate with the businesses here, is understanding what requirements are. We don't know all the facets of everyone's business here, but hopefully through future communications, future meetings, talking to Jack, talking to the city of Rock Island, we can try to minimize our impact and be as accommodating as possible. But we also need to understand that this is a construction project, and just the communication is the biggest piece.
I'll add to that. We're probably going to explore, because it'll be cut off on 3rd. So if they construct 2nd first, and then so maybe we'll just be able to give you access through 2nd at that point.
So will the two streets be done separately? I guess I have another question.
Well, there'll be portions that'll be done together, but the paving or the concrete and stuff will be done separately.
I have a related question.
Sure.
My understanding is there are no vehicles inside the blue area. No vehicles are allowed inside the blue area.
That's correct, and that's for everyone's safety. We're going to be swinging 100,000 pound machines around, trying to dig down 10 to 15 feet deep. And, what we want to try to do is create a safe space, as well as trying to maximize as much work as we can
I
possibly get.
understand that. My question has to do with pedestrians who live. We're in McKesson Lofts on 1st Avenue and 19th Street, and we have some residents in our building who are handicapped. And I think it would be very difficult for them to even walk from the parking lot across 19th Street to get into the building, and certainly if they had, I think that would be a big problem.
So 19th and 1st, you said?
Yes.
So currently that intersection, that corner, is going to be outside the project limits. So that's going to be on the northeast corner, where we are going to be doing some work on 19th and 2nd.
So they would have access to park their car on 19th Avenue, or on 1st Avenue and walk. The entrance to the building is on 19th Street.
As you see on that handout, that block is highlighted as available parking spaces.
Here's where you'd have access right there.
Yep. So Mary, that block will not be reconstructed as part of this project. John Keim had his hand up as well. Don't see.
John Keim, original Huckleberries, Great Beats and Calzones. Excited about the project, excited about the end of the project and what this will look like in the new field downtown. A couple of concerns I have is when you take out the city street lighting at night, will there be any temporary lighting overnight for anybody that is coming around the buildings?
We can discuss that with the city and the team here. And again, the reason why the street lighting is going to go down is for everyone's safety. we want to make sure everything gets done, and we don't want to rip something up and have a live conduit, anything like that. So we will circle that back with the team, and it might be another question we direct to you or have another blast out from Jack here as far as communication, what that resolution is.
Okay, maybe something temporary then. Okay. For the trash issue that is a concern, a dumpster on maybe, I hate saying in front of my neighbor's buildings, but 19th Street, maybe out in the street, a couple spots there for a community dumpster for a while would be helpful, accessible for all the businesses in that court. If I'm a property owner and I have a water and sewer lines going out to the street and this street's getting torn, is this a good time for us to talk to maybe like our plumbers to see if we can do a new reconnect with new lines coming in and out if we need it? And would the city allow us to work with the contractors?
I would communicate with the city for sure. If there's any improvements that you may need, we are doing improvements ourselves from this roadway to the building face.
That's what I understand.
And if something is involved, please coordinate that through Public Works, through VK, through Valley, and make this as a known issue, because again, if we can coordinate and try to help you out as a business owner, we definitely want to have that as an available option.
Okay, great. I look at that as a great opportunity. And then anything with parking after this, is the street parking for like, let's say 18th, is that pretty much the same kind of parking that's going to be there? On the west side, it'll be along the sidewalk, but on our east side, it'll be angled parking?
I believe that it's shown in the renderings pretty well, and Jason probably can allude on it.
Yeah. Yes, it'll be exactly the same parking that it is to the diagonal on one side and parallel on the other. And then your question about, so the water services and the actual sanitary services will be replaced up into the building or up into the curb box. Like if you see a curb box like a foot or two from the building, they'll be replaced up to that point. So, but it definitely is a good time if you want to replace it from inside the building out to that point.
Sarah? Jason, right behind you.
Thank you.
We have some questions about the reconstruction of the sewer and the water, and just concerns on how long we'll be without water. We've got residential apartments as well as the restaurant, so I'm trying to understand if we will be, how long we'll be without water. I mean, we essentially will be closed.
So Valley, Aaron can kind of add on to this, but so what they do is they get it all constructed, the new, and then they leave just the connections to the old, and so then the connections they'll try to schedule at a time maybe on, there's some businesses that are like not there on Mondays. I mean, so they're going to schedule that in advance, like 48 hours, 72 hours. But there will be a couple of outages on water, but they'll all be coordinated, and they'll just be. You want to talk about that, Eric?
Absolutely. So, like Jason said, we're going to be constructing the new water main while keeping the old active. We're not going to shut down during the whole process of reconstruction. Our goal is that once we are ready to tie into your service, we will notify you as much as possible. And at that point, what we would look for is saying, hey, these are my peak hours, these are my non-peak hours. That's what we need back from the businesses and residents saying, hey, this is a time frame that I feel like I'm not going to be impacted when you make these connections. Because without that information, again, I would just pick a date and time, cut it off, and without any involvement with you guys, I can't make it the best transition. But I think honestly, with the team here, you have a lot of avenues to communicate what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and ultimately going back to your question, it's not going to be a very long turnaround from when we ask for it to be shut down to when you're back open. I would say at most probably a day.
So that's still right.
Yeah. They're like for the services that won't be very long. It's just a quick connection, quick over. But the main, like when the proposed main gets hooked into the existing main, it's a little complicated. So there will be a couple, be a few hours at least for each connection, there's gonna be a few connections. So like Aaron said, it could be 4 hours, could be 8 hours, you know, somewhere in there. But that's just one time, you know. But then this, no, I understand. Yes, I think, yeah, will.
Sorry, we can't hear the question up here.
He wants to know, will it mandate a boil order? For those 2 connections, yes.
So when we install a water main, we are required to chlorinate the pipe, and before it becomes active, we actually have the city of Rockland test it with their chemists before it becomes active. But it's also a good practice just to make sure. What you will smell is that the new water that's coming in after the tie-in is done, it will smell chlorinated. But I would still recommend taking every precaution you can. It's just like any other standard, you know. But I would say that if it is something that the project team and this, you know, as we go through this project, we will have that communication set forth prior to us actually making that switch. So again, anything that's required from you as owners or businesses or residents, that I would expect door knockers, I would expect emails, I would just expect communication on that before that happens.
Had a little bit of a dry run on that on the 1800 block at 3rd Avenue earlier this year when there was some water main work done that the city managed. So I would assume that it would follow a somewhat similar process. Obviously enhanced communication this time around, but we will work with you as closely as you want to work with us. So if it's a Monday, Tuesday that you're preferring versus say a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when it comes to the restaurant as an example, we're here to work with you on that.
I don't need to bother everybody, but if someone could show me where our motor coaches will be able to park during this after we get done here, I'd appreciate that. That's on the corner of 19th Street and 3rd Avenue. It looks here as though there isn't a place that's close, or to drop the people off.
Denny, did you ask about parking spaces for your patrons?
No, a place for the motor coaches
coaches.
to drop people off at the front of the theater,
Yep.
some of whom will be in wheelchairs, several of whom will have canes or walkers. And so just how that will be accommodated. Thank you.
I would say our best luck there is adjacent blocks. And so looking at the block directly east of Circuit 21 in front of the Fort Armstrong and working closely with them to see if we can get an arrangement to do that. That is only 30-minute parking, specifically for those similar kind of drop-off approach. And so I would say we'd have good luck working with them, hopefully. I know sometimes you do pull up buses that far one block east, is that correct? Yep, so I would say leading into that block and going farther down east on 3rd Avenue. It's just off the map, so it's not that we can't touch those additional blocks. It's just not included on that map. So for drop off, I would say, again, that block or the block that is southeast of your street level entrance. So that would be on 19th Street that will remain open until the intersection is under construction. And if there are certain days, for example, for the Wednesday matinees, we have uniformed ambassadors that work in the downtown. If that's something that you want to talk about, of needing some potential escorts for folks, we'd be happy to explore that too. If it is a little bit of a farther walk, we're happy to be creative and amenable during this process. Yes.
So as far as 19th and 3rd, we will probably not have that area removed within the next couple weeks. We're going to be methodical and try to attack each particular area little by little. So you're talking about 3rd Avenue, is that right? Yep. So During phase one of the things that we explored was trying to keep 19th Street available for traffic. So what I would recommend is that as construction goes, you may see some of your sidewalk diminish over phase one, but if there is special requirements or if there's special conditions that might need to be considered, please let the city know and we can explore what might need to happen. But as far as your charter buses coming in and out of that area, I would recommend that they use 19th Street as access and unload their passengers off of 3rd and 19th to get to Circuit 21 in your particular case. And as far as trying to keep that area open, again, a lot of it has to do with the phasing aspect. So our phasing in your particular case is beneficial because we have to end prior to getting into the intersection. So you may experience that. Your particular question might not be a concern at this moment, but again, feel free to communicate with the project team and talk about it over the duration of the project.
Well, if there's no more questions, the project team will be around, and feel free to come up and give us individual questions or maybe a question you forgot. So thank you very much.